ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So dear devotees, this particular presentation, this Shravanamritam retreat, especially the term retreat, has a very special meaning. If we remove the prefix "re" from it, then only treat remains, and that will be after this particular talk. So, retreat means you enjoy something nice. That is what you call a treat. And retreat is when you relax, when you rejuvenate. That is what is the essential meaning of the term retreat. So when we are on a retreat, the essential purpose is that we should relax. This is the main purpose of being on a retreat. It's already, already life in the material world is so difficult. How many of us agree? Yes, yes. It should not become more difficult on a retreat. So, this is the entire purpose of a retreat, that we come together and we rejuvenate. The first retreat that I had in my life was with His Holiness Shachinanda Swami Maharaj. And in that he said to me something which I remember till today. He said that Hari Parshad, you should have your tree house. So I did not know what a tree house is. So he said, you don't know what a tree house is? Every German boy has to make a tree house. Because Maharaj is from Germany. So I said, but Maharaj, I am from India. We are not into making tree houses. So he said, a tree house is a place in which a young boy, he climbs, they make for him on the tree, he climbs and he forgets everything else and relaxes there with a few selected friends. That is what a tree house is supposed to do. But then I remembered I had something very similar in my village. In my village there was this wonderful home we had, and there was the upper floor. In the upper floor rarely would anybody go. So I would sometimes go and just relax and retreat. So this is the purpose of a retreat. All of you have come here. You please have a very relaxing and rejuvenating time here. This is my prayer for all of you. Already we are strained out in the material world. And the purpose should be to have some relaxation and also to have some very nice Harikatha. Dear devotees, therefore, we need what is called as Shikharini. Shikharini is, nowadays, dear devotees, Shikharini is called Shrikhand. Shikharini. Previously, that what was known as Shikharini. Today it has a name. What is the name? So Sri Rupa Goswami, when he was staying in Jagannath Puri, one day he had a vision of Sri Satyabhama Devi, and in this vision of Sri Satyabhama Devi, she ordered him to write a drama, Vidagdha Madhav, so that the devotees who are feeling that Krishna has left Vrindavan to go to Mathura and Krishna has left Mathura to go to Dwaraka, those devotees who are feeling some pain because Krishna did not return to Vrindavan, those devotees should feel some relaxation, some soothing effect in the heart. So that was the reason why Sri Rupa Goswami composed his drama Vidagdha Madhav. But Shikharini essentially has been defined by Sri Rupa Goswami in his Vidagdha Madhav. But before we define Shikharini, I would first and foremost like to glorify all the members of the audience, because Sri Rupa Goswami always began every work of his by glorifying the audience. And I have always said that the audience is the most important part of any particular presentation, because a like-minded audience is the best gift that a speaker can get. And if the audience is not like-minded, then no matter how hard you try, in the end, Shrama eva hi kevalam. So dear devotees, I saw the Kirtan was being sung. Prabhu, what is your good name? Kulshekhar Prabhu was singing the wonderful Kirtan. Let's give him a big round of applause. I also sing Hare Krishna, but people usually don't respond. But I'm very happy. The singing was so nice. Adi Gadadhar Prabhu sang so nicely. And all of you are responding very nicely. That's the sort of audience that a speaker always desires. And dear devotees, such an audience has been glorified by Sri Rupa Goswami in the first verse of his Dan Keli Kaumudi. And this verse, dear devotees, is in the meter Shikharini. So the name of the meter is what, dear devotees? Shikharini. I'll try to sing. The meter is same as Jagannath Ashtakam. Meter is slightly difficult to sing, but please sing after me. Gaviro Vyasham Danduradhigama Paro Sanskrit poetics that the name of the meter should fit within the meter. What is the name of this meter, dear devotees? Shikharini. And what is the meaning of Shikharini? Shrikhand. Wonderful. This is Shikharini. Sri Rupa Goswami is very expert at Rupak Alankar. Rupak Alankar means he is very expert at drawing imagery in his verses. Sri Rupa Goswami draws the image of an ocean and he gives many qualities of the ocean. Dear devotees, Gabhiropi, please tell me if it is correct or not. Gabhiropi ashrantam. The ocean is Gabhir, deep, yet ashrantam, very restless. Is it correct? Yes or no? Yes. Dur adhigama paro. And it is very unfathomable, it is very difficult to reach the other end of the ocean. Nitaram aharyam maryadam. Dear devotees, this ocean usually has fixed boundaries. Does the ocean ever cross its boundaries? No. Even though the water of so many rivers is constantly deposited in the ocean maintains its boundaries. Harer aspadamapi, and the ocean is a resting place of Shri Hari. Yes or no? Yes. And of course, as I said, it always maintains strict boundaries. But there is one condition in which the ocean breaks its boundaries. It says, Evendau Prabhavati, when the full moon rises over the ocean, on that particular night, the ocean is unable to maintain its composure. It crosses over and swells and completely breaks all its boundaries. Dear devotees, wonderful verse. But as I said, Sri Rupa Goswami wanted to glorify the audience, but he ended up glorifying the ocean. No, dear devotees. Kaviropya Shantam, the hearts of the devotees are deep, yet restless. Yes or no, dear? Duradhigama Paru, it is difficult to reach the other end of the devotee's heart. Yes or no, dear? Aharyam Maryadam, usually the devotees maintain strict boundaries of Vaidhi Bhakti. And the devotees' hearts are a resting place of Sri Hari. Yes or no? But when the full moon like Krishna Chandra arises on the sky of the heart of the devotees are unable to maintain their boundaries of Vaidhi Bhakti. And they cross over into what is known as Raga Bhakti and tears flow from their eyes, dear devotees. So this is all of you, dear devotees. Wow! This wow, dear devotees, has a specific name in Sanskrit. It is called, please repeat, Ashcharya Ras. Ashcharya Ras is wow. This wow is the result of experiencing any ras in bhakti. Yam vinana raso rasa, without Ashcharya, without wow, no rasa is rasa. And dear devotees, if you are feeling some little glimpse of rasa, we should know that this rasa is the non-material, transcendental object in the material world. How many of you felt a little wow? Please raise your hands. So you felt a little fragment of which rasa, dear devotees? And this rasa is not different from Krishna, dear devotees. Your hearts were touched by none other than whom? Krishna. Oh, wonderful. I would like to associate with all of you. It is said that Mad Bhakta Yatra Gayanti Tatra Tishtami Narada. Where my devotees sing about me, I reside there. But in which row is Krishna sitting? He is not sitting in any particular row, dear devotees. He is present in the form of one particular substance. Which substance is that, dear devotees? Ras. And ras usually is expressed in various moods such as laughter, crying. But in the end, the devotee should say, have one feeling. Which feeling, dear devotees? Wow. Yeah. Wow. So if you felt a little wow, congratulations, you were touched by none other than Shri Krishna. So dear devotees, this is Sri Rupa Goswami. In a single verse, he can manifest the presence of Shri Krishna in your hearts. But dear devotees, we are here for the retreat. And in the retreat, there should also be a treat. So, therefore, we'll define what is Shikharini. And Sri Rupa Goswami, in the beginning of his Vidagdha Madhav, he composes a verse and says that I am giving this Shikharini to you. I am composing this Shikharini. And this Shikharini, he defines in the meter Shikharini. Once again, dear devotees, I will sing. Please sing after me. Sudanam Chandrinam Abhi Madhuri Monma Dadamane. Sudanam Chandrinam Abhi Madhuri Monma Dadamane. Dadana Radha Pranaya Gana Sare Surabhitam. संसार सरणे Sri Rupa Goswami embedded the name of the meter in the meter. But here the final term is Hari Leela Shikharini, the Shrikhand of Shri Krishna's pastimes. So this is the theme of the presentation. I am going to be dishing out Shikharini to all. I will give out Shikharini. Your purpose is only one thing, you have to enjoy. Alright, everybody, are you willing to enjoy? Wonderful. Everybody, this is the purpose of retreat. This is the purpose of existing in the material world. At one point of time, Srila Prabhupada said, the purpose of life is to enjoy. That's it. After all the philosophical gymnastics are done, finally one truth comes out. What is the purpose of life? That's it. How many of you agree? So all of you are like-minded to me. Yavat jivet, sukham jivet. As long as you live happily. Because so many promises are given of the afterlife. After death, you will become happy. I forget becoming happy in this world. So the process of Sri Rupa Goswami is to be happy in this world, and happiness is definitely there in the next world. Devotees. Keval Ananda. That's it. This is happiness for all of us. But while we are relishing Shikharinis, while we are relishing these sweet verses from Srila Rupa Goswami and other acharyas, we should know that originally Sri Rupa Goswami prepared his Shikharinis for one personality. And that personality was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these Shikharinis, although we are saying that it is for our enjoyment, actually it is best to enjoy the Uchishta, the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Sri Rupa Goswami's purpose of writing this drama was to give pleasure to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore all the verses, most of the verses that we will see today and in the presentations have gone through the ears of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are relishing the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rupa Goswami says here about Shikharini. What is Shikharini? Today, dear devotees, we put it in a freezer. So it is very solid, like Shrikhand is very solid. Previously, they would not put it in a freezer. So it would be more like a yogurt texture, what you see here. This is traditional Shrikhand. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, I am preparing Hari Leela Shikharini. I am preparing the Shrikhand of Shri Krishna's pastimes. Now he says, Sudhanam Chandrinam Api Madhurima Unmada Damani. This Shikharini drink, it can defeat the sweetness even of nectar, which is available in Swarga. And Chandrinam, it can defeat the cooling nature of the moonlight. Because Shrikhand is supposed to be hot or cool, dear devotees? Cool. And is it supposed to be sweet or sour? Sweet. In sweetness, it will win over the nectar of Swarga. And in coolness, it will win over the nectarian moon. Dadhana, why is it so? Radhadhi Pranaya Ghanasarai. I have also added the Ghanasar. Ghanasar is camphor. I have also added the camphor of Radha Pranaya, of the love of Shri Radha. Surabhitam. So it is very fragrant now. So dear devotees, it has three characteristics. It is very cooling, it is very sweet, and it is very fragrant. Samantat santapodgama vishama samsara sarani. You are, all of you who are walking on samsara sarani, the burning path of the material world. Pranitam te trishnam harutu, all of you who are very hungry and thirsty because of walking on the paths of the material world, may all your hunger and thirst be driven away by Hari Leela Shikharini. So dear devotees, let it take away all the exhaustion that you have on this particular path of the material world. So dear devotees, Kesar Prabhu, you have good voice. Please read.
The Shikharini drink of Sri Hari's pastimes is capable of defeating the joyous sweetness of the moon's nectar. It is also fragrant due to the cooling camphor of Sri Radha's love. May this Shikharini drink drive away all of your thirst caused by walking on the difficult, troublesome pathways of the material world.
So this is the purpose of the retreat. I am giving Shikharini, you are enjoying. Dear devotees, this is the purpose of the retreat, and Bhagwan also loves these Shikharinis. Shri Krishna also loves these Shikharinis. Dear devotees, we are here on a retreat, and I said, what is the meaning of retreat, dear devotees? To rejuvenate, to move away actually. The meaning of a retreat is to move away. To move away from the material world, or to move away from intense activity. And dear devotees, just as we are on a retreat, Bhagwan Shri Krishna also was on a retreat. And which is Bhagwan's place of retreat? Between the three pastime places, Dwarka, Mathura and Sri Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is Shri Krishna's retreat place. And therefore, dear devotees, it is Bhagwan's personal pleasure garden that was manifested in this world. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagwan Shri Krishna's pleasure garden Sri Vrindavan is described by Sri Shukadeva Goswami. A wonderful verse in the 11th chapter of the 10th canto. Please sing after me. Vrindavanam Govardhanam Yamuna Pulinani cha Vikshya Uttama Priti Rama Madhavayor Nripa. So three of the best devotees of Sri Krishna are mentioned in this verse. Dear devotees, in the first two lines, the three devotees are mentioned. Who is the first devotee, dear devotees? Vrindavan. What is the meaning of Vrindavan? It is Vrinda Devi's forest, therefore it is called as Vrindavan. So Vrinda Devi is the first devotee mentioned. Second is the greatest devotee of all. Who is that? Govardhana. And third, dear devotees, is Yamuna. These three, Viksha, when Shri Krishna saw for the first time. Shri Krishna was a child. While growing up, dear devotees, Shri Krishna moved from Gokul to Vrindavan. Because there were many attacks by the demons in Gokul. So they shifted from Gokul to Vrindavan. And when Shri Krishna came to Vrindavan, and for the first time he saw Vrindavanam, Govardhanam, Yamuna, Pulinanicha. These three. On seeing them, Uttama Priti, he developed great taste for these three dear devotees. How many of us remember our village in the childhood? How many of us have had the good fortune of growing up in a village or having seen the village in a childhood? On riding the bullock carts and climbing the trees and sitting near the rivers. Dear devotees, our Bhagavan also, for the first time in his life, he had the experience of that village life. And those first memories of childhood are very special memories. These are the first memories that Shri Krishna is making. Shri Krishna is Bhagavan, yes or no?
Yes.
Vrindavan, Govardhan and Yamuna are his eternal pastime places. But when he appears again and again, he goes through the same feeling of experiencing Vrindavan, Govardhan and Yamuna for the first time. And those experiences are very special. And for the first time he saw Vrindavan, for the first time he saw Govardhan, and for the first time he saw Yamuna. And he saw, dear devotees, the beautiful Yamuna Sri Jiva Goswami describes in the Gopal Champu. He saw that beautiful Yamuna, dear devotees, he saw that the Yamuna had three types of images on it. The first image, dear devotees, was the image of the fishes swimming inside it. And the Yamuna was transparent. So he saw the image of the fishes inside it. The second image, dear devotees, was the image of the trees, the shadow of the trees on both sides. And dear devotees, the third image was the shadow of the birds which flew over Yamuna. So total three images. Which three images, dear devotees? The fishes. Sri Jiva Goswami said, in this way the Yamuna appeared to Sri Krishna like a very long black colored sari with so many wonderful patterns. In this way, dear devotees, when our Bhagavan saw Vrindavan, Govardhan and Yamuna, our Bhagavan sat down comfortably, Uttama Priti, and exhibited great love for these three places. Sri Krishna and Balram enjoyed very much in these three places. So, please read, Prabhuji.
O King Parikshit, when Balaram and Krishna saw Vrindavana, Govardhana, and the banks of the river Yamuna, they both enjoyed great pleasure.
They both enjoyed great pleasure on these particular banks, dear devotees. But dear devotees, our Bhagavan was not happy while staying in Vrindavan for some reason. You know, every person in the village has a desire, I'll go to the city and become a big man. So our Bhagavan also had this desire, that I'll go to Mathura and I'll become the king of Mathura. And dear devotees, so our Bhagavan went to Mathura and became the king of Mathura after killing Kamsa. But even after killing Kamsa, even after becoming the king of Mathura, having the most lavish city life, our Bhagavan still was deeply missing these three places: Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yamuna. This is where Bhagavan could be himself. Much before that, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chatushkritam Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Bhagavan said in the Gita that he comes for three purposes: to rescue the sadhus from the asuras, from the demons, to destroy the demons, and to establish dharma. These official responsibilities were there on Sri Krishna ever since he entered Mathura. But before he entered Mathura, the main thing which he performed in Vrindavan was retreat. This was Bhagavan's retreat place. And Bhagavan was at his most comfortable self in Vrindavan. And as Prabhu said, even in Vrindavan, he was so relaxed, he engaged Vishnu in killing the demons. So Prabhu, I have one simple question. If Vishnu killed the demons, what did Krishna do? Retreat. This is what Bhagavan did in Sri Vrindavan. This is his choicest place of existence. Even when he went to Mathura, he would sometimes cry in loneliness. And when he would cry in loneliness, usually people should not see Bada Maharaj, Big Maharaj crying. Therefore, he would cry alone. One point of time, his friend and minister Sri Uddhav saw him to be crying. And then Uddhav asked him, what is wrong? At that time, he expressed his heart to Uddhav. He confided in Uddhav and he said something. The verse is in the meter Manda Kranta. I have quoted half the verse. Please sing after me. Bhuyo bhuya priya sakha shape tubhyam avyajatoham.
Bhuyo bhuya priya sakha shape tubhyam avyajatoham.
Bhuranyame hridi sukha kare goshtata kwapi nasti.
Bhuranyame hridi sukha kare goshtata kwapi nasti.
Bhuya bhuya. Repeatedly I want to tell you something, Uddhav. Priya Sakha, you are very dear to me. I want to tell this thing again and again to you. I could not express my heart to anybody in Mathura. There is nobody who is dear to me here. Actually speaking, I can't speak my heart to anybody. I am very lonely here. I'm very lonely here. And there is nobody whom I can speak my heart to. Although I have become a big king of Mathura, and I have taken all the official responsibilities, but I am very lonely here. And Shape, I swear to you, I am telling you, Avyajato, without any deceit in my heart, I am telling you, Bhur anya me hridi sukhakari goshtatah kwapi nasti. There is no bhu, there is no piece of land on earth which is hridi sukhakari, which gives as delight to my heart as goshtatah, as Sri Vrindavan. There is nothing else on this planet which I remember day in and day out. That remembrance is like a splinter in my mind. It troubles me every single day. And I am not able to go back to that particular place. And this is giving me immense pain in my heart. So this is what he said, dear friend. Again and again I solemnly swear unto you and tell you that there is no other land on planet earth which gives me greater pleasure than one land, dear devotees. What is that?
Vrajabhumi.
And why Vrajabhumi, dear devotees? It was his first love.
Yes.
It was his first love. It was the place where he grew up. It was his own village. He felt, this is mine. This is mine. By birth, this is mine. For Mathura, he had to snatch it from Kamsa. Mathura belongs to Krishna by acquisition. And Dwarka, he had to run away from Mathura after it was attacked 17 times. By whom, dear devotees? So Dwarka was out of necessity. Mathura was out of acquisition. But Vrajabhumi was out of birth. Dear devotees, Vrajabhumi was out of birth. This Vrindavan was his birthplace and his place of pastimes. And dear devotees, there is something very special about Vraja that Sri Rupa Goswami mentions in Laghu Bhagavatamritam. Now this Siddhanta is a very important Siddhanta, and please pay close attention to this, what Sri Rupa Goswami says in Laghu Bhagavatamritam. Please sing after me. Yattu goloka namasya tacca gokula vaibhavam Yattu goloka namasya. Dear devotees, we have heard about the term Golok Vrindavan. And where is Goloka Vrindavan? In the material world or the spiritual world? Yattu Goloka namasya. That which is known as Goloka in the spiritual world, Tacca Gokula Vaibhavam. It is just a partial manifestation of Gokul in the material world. I hope you are able to. I hope I didn't pull the carpet under your feet. Yattu Goloka Namasyat. That which is known as Goloka, Tacca Gokula Vaibhavam. It is a partial manifestation of what, dear devotees? Gokul. Gokul is Vrindavan in the material world when Krishna appears. Although it has no touch of material energy, but still his pastimes in the material world take place in Gokul. So his pastime place in the material world is known as what, dear devotees? Gokul. And his eternal pastime place in the spiritual world is known as Goloka. Yattu Goloka Namasya. That which is known as Goloka Vrindavan is just a partial manifestation and opulence of what, dear devotees? Gokul. And where does Gokul appear, dear devotees? On earth. So dear devotees, please tell me, which is greater, Golok Vrindavan or Gokul Vrindavan? Gokul Vrindavan. Now some of you are having shanka, doubt in your mind. Did this person translate the verse correctly? All of us want to go to one Vrindavan. Which Vrindavan did And today we are learning that Golok Vrindavan is just a partial manifestation of which Vrindavan? Gokul Vrindavan. So there must be some specialty in Gokul Vrindavan which is not present in Golok Vrindavan. So what is that specialty in Gokul Vrindavan which is not present in Golok Vrindavan? The Acharyas explain what is present in Gokul that is not present in Golok Vrindavan. Dear devotees, in the Anand Vrindavan Champu, Shri Kavi Karnapur gives a wonderful verse. Please sing after me. Balyadi Leela Suranash Leele Lokam Vinanarhata Eva Shobha. Balya Adi Leela, the childhood pastimes of growing from 0 to 16. The pastimes of growing from 0 to 16, they don't take place there. Right? Because the Brahma Samhita says, Navayauvanam cha. In Golok Vrindavan, Bhagavan is always sweet 16. Navayauvan. Right? Bhagavan is always sweet 16. So where does Bhagavan get the opportunity of rediscovering 0 to 16? This is where Bhagavan gets to grow up again and again and again. And second is Asura Nash Leela, the pastime of killing demons. Those pastimes take place mainly in which world, dear devotees? The material world. So without the earthly abode of Gokul, Shri Kavi Karnapur says Krishna's childhood, etc., pastimes and his pastimes of killing the demons do not attain any elegance. So, in the spiritual world also there are demons, believe it or not. Sri Jiva Goswami says in Bhakti Sandarbha, Asuras tu na tatra chetana. There are demons in the spiritual world, but they are not real demons. Kintu yantra maya tat pratimani bhagya, but they are mechanical replicas of the actual demons. Now mechanical is a very poor term actually, because I have come from an engineering background. So I have used a poor term. Let this not mean that they are material. They are actually play toys of Yogamaya. The demons in the spiritual world are actually play toys of Yogamaya. So please tell me, can Krishna find real demons in the spiritual world?
No.
Real demons are found in one world, dear devotees. Which world? Material world. Bhagavan cannot get real demons in the spiritual world. And Bhagavan cannot grow up from 0 to 16 in the spiritual world. Therefore, one particular world is most needed for the nourishment of Shri Krishna's pastimes. Which world is needed, dear devotees? Material world. And therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami said, that which is Goloka is actually a partial manifestation of which abode, dear devotees? Gokul. So we are deeply interested in Gokul. Deeply interested. More interested than getting liberated, going back to Godhead and getting to Golok Vrindavan. We are more interested in relishing those pastimes of Gokul Vrindavan. Dear devotees, this is the land where Bhagavan grew up from 0 to 16. This is the land where Bhagavan relished the joy of first climbing on his mother's lap. This joy he will not have in Mathura or Dwarka. All these joys that I am telling you, these joys he will not have in Mathura and Dwarka. The joy of climbing and sitting comfortably on his mother's lap. And then his mother, Yashoda, would chew half of betel nut pan and give the remaining half to him, dear devotees. Now betel leaf pan is already very sweet. But when half chewed by Mother Yashoda, that sweetness he cannot have anywhere else. And dear devotees, in Gokul, he had the pleasure of wearing comfort clothing. comfort clothing. How many of us will go back to our respective homes or hotel rooms, and how many of us are eager to get into comfort clothing these days? He was always in his comfort clothing in Gokul Vrindavan. He will put his dhoti till his knees and sit comfortably on the banks of the Yamuna. At that time, the kingly responsibility that he has to dress like a Maharaj, like a big king, and the crown should be perfect and the peacock feather should be absolutely nice. Those responsibilities, those formalities were not upon him. He would go in the forest and just simply take little minerals from the forest and put off as his ornaments. Is there any place, dear devotees, in Mathura and Dwarka where he could wear comfort clothing? I will say one thing, dear devotees. In Gokul Vrindavan, in our Vrindavan, our Bhagavan has the joy of doing nothing. And how many of us like to have that joy, dear devotees? There should be some days when we should do absolutely nothing. That's what retreats are meant for. You do absolutely nothing. You come, you sit here. If you want to listen, you listen. Or you take shelter of one of the walls. There is absolutely no pressure. And we have not kept a very strict morning program here. One time, I was in a retreat with His Holiness Shachinandan Maharaj. And I asked him, Maharaj, the first time Maharaj, when is the morning program? So he said, Hi Parshad, it's a retreat. We have a morning program. It's at 5:30, but please don't feel pressured. Sometimes you arrive late at night and then you have to wake up next morning at that inhuman time, 3:30. His exact words. So dear devotees, this is the mood of the retreat. So that you will remember, you will go back with sweet memories. We don't want you to go back sleep deprived. We want you to go back happily. So, the pleasure of doing nothing was experienced in Sri Vrindavan. The joy of eating mud, the joy of eating dirt, the joy of stealing and eating their devotees was in Vrindavan. We can understand why it is so dear to him. As the king of Dwarka and Mathura, Maharaj cannot steal. Maharaj cannot steal. Because everything belongs to Maharaj. In this land, our Bhagavan is not restricted by the codes of dharma. I hope you are able to understand. You are intelligent people. You will understand what I am trying to say. Our Bhagavan is not restricted by the strict codes of dharma. All that will start after Mathura. After Mathura, he has to be Satya Narayana. Right now, he can be Mithya Narayana. The Bhagavan who speaks lies. All of you are laughing, dear devotees. This is called Hasyaras. Which is this called? So this is Katha. This is retreat. There should be rust. If there is no ras, then we could not enjoy. And if we could not enjoy, we couldn't have a retreat. And if we couldn't have a retreat, then shrama eva hi kevalam. That is the whole purpose of a retreat. It is in Vrindavan that he ate dirt. And devotees, it is in Vrindavan that he had the joy of that friendship which was unfettered by formalities. That friendship he enjoyed only in Sri Vrindavan. He could never have such friends anywhere else. Please tell me who was his best friend outside of Vrindavan? Uddhav. Wow. That's the best example you can think of, dear devotees. Uddhav, that person who comes with folded hands like a minister, whose friendship is mixed with dasya ras. Please tell me a friend who has pure friendship outside of Vrindavan. Sudama, who when his wife told him that your friend is the greatest of kings, go and ask him for something. Then he came, and Sudama also was very hesitant to ask from him something. We want friends who can steal right from his pocket. That sort of friends. Which friend? Is there any such friend outside of you? No. Not at all. And dear devotees, most importantly in Vrindavan, for the first time our Bhagwan had the joy of experiencing first love. And the joy of experiencing first love is something which Bhagwan wants to have again and again. How many of you have experienced first love? Oh, you are Hare Krishna, sorry. Sorry, you don't. You are Hare Krishnas, you fall in love. Love is a fall down, isn't it? Sorry. Wrong question to the wrong audience. In your mind, you can raise your hand. You know how first love feels like. Those of you who have experienced, you know how it feels like. You know what's the specialty of seeing the other person from a distance. You know what's the specialty of hearing about the other person. You know the specialty of the eagerness for meeting them for the first time. This pleasure cannot be had in one place, dear devotees. Which place, dear devotees? Golok Vrindavan. This pleasure can only be had in one Vrindavan. Gokul. The joy of new discovery of first love is present here in Gokul Vrindavan. Because around the age of 8, 9, 10, he experienced his first love. But in Golok Vrindavan, his age is fixed at what, dear devotees? 16. Not 16. Sweet 16. He just ended 15 and entered into 16. So dear devotees, this is not possible for him to experience again and again in Goloka. And for this reason, Bhagwan constantly exhibits his pastimes in the material world. And not only does he fall in love for the first time, he also fails miserably at love in Vrindavan. All his attempts will attain failure, and we will see many of those. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami will give Shikharini after Shikharini. So, how many of us are willing to relish Hari Leela Shikharini? Dear devotees, is the purpose of the human form of life. This is why we took birth as humans. This is the success of the human form of life, to be able to relish Hari Leela Shikharini, to be able to relish the sweet pastimes of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, in various meters, especially in the meter Shikharani, Sri Rupa Goswami will give us, and I will try to present. Although I am not a very expert chef, but I'll try to bring a small collection of such Shikharanis. And dear devotees, it's so nice that Adi Gadadhar Prabhu will take you back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because all the Shikharanis were originally written for whose pleasure? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll be reminded again and again that the Shikharanis you see in this presentation, and you will hear about Mahaprabhu relishing those Shikharanis in Prabhu's presentation. So it's in a mood of complimenting each other that we are giving this series of presentations. In the Upanishads there is a phrase, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karvavahai, Tejasvinav Adhitamassu, Ma Vidvishavahai. This was the first prayer my Sanskrit teacher taught me. Sahanau Avatu, may both of us protect each other. Sahanau Bhunaktu, may both of us achieve great heights. Sahaviryam Karavavahai, may both of us do many great things. Tejasvi now adhitamastu, may our study be very jubilant and joyous. Maha vidvishavahe, may there be no feeling of envy between both of us. Devotees. This is the mood with which the retreat is given. So both speakers are supposed to complement each other, dear devotees. And in your minds, dear devotees, please look upon both the speakers with that mood. I hope you are able to understand. Because what happens is often whenever there are two people, there is the tendency to compare both of them. But that is not the intention of the retreat. The intention of the retreat is complementing each other. So you will find many things in Prabhu's seminar which will add a lot of value to your Krishna Bhakti, which you will not find in this one. And perhaps in this seminar you will find something which will add value to your Krishna Bhakti. So take with both hands, dear devotees, take with both hands. And be very greedy for taking from both hands. This is the purpose of the retreat, dear devotees. This is the mood with which I have come here. And there's a very nice verse with which I am speaking these presentations. Please sing after me. Karaviva sharirasya netrayoriva pakshmani avicharya priyam kuryat tanmitram mitramuchyate. Dear devotees, please be my friends. And friends, karaviva sharirasya. Just as hands, karav, these hands rise to protect the body in the case of an attack. You don't have to separately tell the hands, please rise to protect me. They rise without being asked for. Netrayoriva pakshmani. And just like the eyelids, they close to protect the eyes. Spontaneously, they need not be told. Avicharya. Even without thinking, these protect the body and the eyes. Priyam kuryat. Tan mitram. Similarly, a friend is he who protects the friend without even the friend asking for it. So this, dear devotees, is the mood with which I have arrived here. This is the mood I hope that all of you will protect me. So, karaviva sharirasya, like hands protect the body. Netrayoriva pakshmani, like eyelashes protect the eyes. Avicharya priyam kuryat, the friend who acts instantly to help without asking for it. Tan mitram, that friend, mitram uchyate, is known as a true friend. And dear devotees, somebody may ask, why should we protect you? You may have many faults. Should we protect a faulty person? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why?
We all have faults.
Because you may say, Hari Parshad Das, you have many faults.
Yes, no one is perfect.
So dear devotees, all faulty people have gathered here together. And therefore, the behavior of friends is this. This is a wonderful verse from the Valmiki Ramayana. When Vibhishan came to the shelter of Bhagavan Ram, and all the advisors of Bhagavan Ram said, don't accept him. He is from Asur Jati. He is from the side of Ravana. Don't accept him. But Bhagavan Ram saw into Vibhishan's eyes and noticed that he had sincerity in his eyes. So Bhagavan Ram gave the conclusion to all of his army members. Mitra bhavena sampraptam nadyajeyam kathanchana dosho yadyapi tasya satam etad agarhitam. Mitra bhavena sampraptam. If somebody has arrived in front of us with mitra bhav, with the feeling of a genuine friend, na tyajayam kathanchana, such a person should not be given up at any point of time. Dosho yadyapi tasya syat, even though such a person has faults. Satam etad agarhitam. This is the spotless behavior of the sadhus. Dear devotees, I have many faults. This I am telling you very clearly. I have many faults. But I hope I have come with mitra bhav. I hope you are able to understand. So, na tyajaya. Kindly do not give up on me. Dosho yadyapi tasya syat. Although I might have many faults, but satam etad agarhitam. The spotless behavior of the sadhus is that they do not give up a friend, even though that friend may have many faults. Devotees. As long as the faults are not criminal in nature, you can always excuse a few mistakes here and there. Right? So, kindly reproach.
A person who has come to us with a mood of genuine friendship should never be abandoned in any way whatsoever. Even if that person has some faults, they should be accepted. This is the spotless conclusion of the saintly souls.
With this verse, dear devotees, I would like to pause my presentation. From tomorrow, I will start dishing out. From tomorrow onwards, we will enter into the choicest clay garden of Bhagavan, which is that, dear devotees? Vrindavan. And between two Vrindavans, we have one Vrindavan which is very dear to us. Which Vrindavan? Gokul Vrindavan. This Gokul Vrindavan is dearmost to us. It is okay for us to take birth in the material world again and again if we can take birth with Krishna and experience Gokul Vrindavan. There is absolutely no need for me to go back home, back to Godhead if I can take birth repeatedly with Krishna and experience Gokul Vrindavan. This Vrindavan is the core of the heart of Sri Rupa Goswami and all the other Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. This is the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Bhagavan is more beautiful in the material world. Bhagavan is more beautiful in the material world. And from tomorrow onwards, I will start explaining why he is more beautiful in the material world. Thank you very much, devotees. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible that I might have made a mistake, I might have slipped. Definitely. But vidvam saha, you are learned devotees, purayantu tat. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit, whatever was nice, please remember tad guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you, dear devotees, and I would like to thank many devotees here who have made it possible for me to be here. So I am very thankful once again to Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, Radharama Mataji, and the my sincere thanks also to Vishnu Priya Mataji. She's hiding there. She's the one who coordinated with Prabhu and Mataji and made it possible. And all these three people, they know my faults, but they have still invited me here. So I'm very happy. Thank you so much, Prabhu and Mataji. Thank you so much, dear devotees. And also Param Karuna Prabhu, Damodar Lila Mataji, they'll be coming tomorrow morning. So we are expecting them tomorrow morning. But many wonderful devotees present here. Many of my friends are here. Dear devotees, you know who you are. And you know you have a special place, all of you, in my heart. Thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ji. Okay. So, can we have a few minutes of Q&A?
Yes.
Yes, all right, wonderful. So we'll have a few minutes of Q&A. I know it's getting slightly delayed,
Sure.
but I run on Indian Standard Time. I'll take 2 questions and then we'll pause for today. Anybody wants to ask anything? Please, now is the time to ask. Yeah, wonderful. Oh, Jai Ho. Priti Vilansini Mataji. Mataji, easy questions only.
Krishna, thank you so much for coming. This is one of the most important days for all of us. Prabhuji, this topic is very dear to my heart, childhood pastimes and Bhama Vrindavan. I think I've asked you about this earlier also. And I'm hoping by the end of the seminar I'm convinced. Related to that, I have a question. If we are in this Gokul Vrindavan and we have an opportunity to associate with Krishna, seeing his childhood pastimes, which is of course not present in the spiritual world like you mentioned, is it really going to be the way it is explained in theory, meaning in the spiritual world we understand that we have a spiritual body and again it's about us only, I'm not even talking about Krishna, it's all about myself. So there I know I have a spiritual body, I don't have any material conditioning like it is here. In theory I understand Gokul Vrindavan is also transcendental, and if I am there in Gokul Vrindavan, I'm supposed to quote unquote be very pure or in the mode of Shuddha Sattva, which I don't think I will. Having a material body and having the mixed gunas, of course being in the presence of Krishna, will the experience really be the same as it would ideally be in the spiritual world? There are so many problems in this material world, right? Won't the similar things like the defects of the material world affect my consciousness when I am with Krishna?
Oh, wonderful question. When we think of the material world, we remember the 2 adjectives applied to the material world by Bhagavan Shri Krishna. What are the 2 adjectives? Ashashvatam. So when we will take birth with Krishna, the material world will still remain what? Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. And so when we take birth with Krishna and we are experiencing his childhood pastimes, that same trace of Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam will be there or will it not be there? So Sri Jiva Goswami answers this question in the Bhagavad Sandarbha and in the Krishna Sandarbha by saying that the associates of Bhagavan do not experience any material misery. What looks like material misery is actually an expression of Bhakti Ras. I'll give you a very simple example. Ashwathama ended up killing the 5 sons of Draupadi, and the next day Draupadi forgave him. Does it happen in real life or does it only happen in Leela? Leela. So it is Leela, and therefore Sri Jiva Goswami quotes a verse which I will quote. This is 10:11:58 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please sing after me, dear devotees. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama kathamuda kurvanto ramamanascha navindan bhava vedanam. Still have the mic, Mataji, with you? Yeah. Can you please read the translation? Please read the translation, Mataji.
Translation. In this way, all the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj enjoyed topics about the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram with great transcendental pleasure, and they could not even perceive material tribulations.
Oh, wonderful. So Sri Jiva Goswami uses this verse to make the point that even in the material world, the associates never are touched by any material suffering. It is a completely closed compartment. Material nature does not have an entry into this. When does material world start acting? When Krishna disappears. That is the time material nature starts taking over the abode of Vrindavan gradually again. But as long as Krishna's feet are touching the planet, till that time material nature cannot act, neither upon Bhagwan nor upon his associates. The so-called external suffering sometimes that is seen are just sanchari bhavs, expression of bhakti ras, and they are fully joyous in nature. And simple example is, just as there may be two people, they are friends, and then they may go on a stage and play a role in a drama where one friend is fighting against the other friend. Now on the stage, are they experiencing misery? No, they are not experiencing misery. Similarly, it's a drama. Please try to understand, many things will happen in the drama. Satyajit will become an enemy of Krishna and will become killed. Jay and Vijay will take 3 births just for the sake of giving pleasure to Bhagwan. Bhagwan will never put them in any material misery. It is all part of Leela. It is all under the framework of Bhakti Ras, and there is zero suffering for the associates of Bhagwan. Okay? So that once you come to know, then it is very nice. In the spiritual world, those who are parents, although they see Krishna as 16, the image in their mind is always of Krishna, which is of their favorite age. Different
How
parents.
about the pastimes, Prabhu? Image is one thing, interaction is something else.
Yeah. So the pastimes, interaction, whenever there is a desire to have those interactions, Sri Jiva Goswami says that all the associates can also have Prakash Vigraha. Prakash Vigraha is replica, and simultaneous replica in the material world and in the spiritual world. So unlimited associates can have unlimited replicas. And therefore a single person can simultaneously enjoy the 0 to 16 in Gokul and also enjoy sweet 16 in Goloka. Whatever you desire, nothing will be left out for you. Okay?
So in the spiritual world it is 16 only. 16 only. Meaning even if you have a replica, like
You may have a replica in the material world simultaneously. To enjoy 0 to 15.
Okay.
Alright? And none of the replicas will be touched by material nature. Alright? Thank you.
Thank you.
One last query, then we'll pause. Yeah.
Damodar Leela.
Damodar Leela Prabhu.
Thank you, Babuji, for a very wonderful class. Actually, I'm getting a hope. I think in a class mentioned saying that experience of Krishna's rasa in this life, in staying here itself. So that's hope you're giving to me. That's all I can take it here. But Babuji, I wanted to ask one, but I don't have any praman. I heard from the devotees saying that in the spiritual world also there are so many spiritual world which Krishna has a different age. I don't know about it, if you have any thought.
Yes. So the praman is given, I quoted Sri Kavi Karnapur, Balyadi Leela, Asura Nasha Leela. 2 pastimes, Lokam, they are happening in the material world. That is 0 to 16. That, see, one thing please try to understand. There are 6 features of the material world. Jayate, taking birth. Asti, existing. Vardhate, growing up. Viparinamate, transformation. Apakshiyate, dwindling. Nashyati, death. These 6 transformations are part of which world, Prabhu? So when Krishna takes birth, Krishna grows up, he appears as if he is taking birth like an ordinary human, Nar Leela. Although it's nothing material, but he shows the changes of the material world through his pastimes. But those changes can be shown only in one world. And which world is that? It is material. Siddhantically, if the 6 transformations start happening in the spiritual world, then we will end up with a philosophical problem. The philosophical problem is that in the spiritual world, these transformations of age are not mentioned. So what the Acharya said, it is my duty to faithfully replicate. I can't confuse you, because what will happen is, in the spiritual world also it is going on, in the material world also is going on. So why have material world at all? Have all your pastimes in which world? Spiritual world. Isn't it? But there is a reason why he is exhibiting pastimes in the material world. There is something he can have in the material world which he cannot have in the spiritual world. And then there is something in the spiritual world which is not in the material world. So both things are there. But this one is more special. Okay. So when we learn the Siddhanta, sometimes we have to unlearn some things from the past in order to learn something new. Okay. So something new we learn today. I hope we will be able to digest it gradually. Okay. I will show one last praman. Let's sing together. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshtu Durlabham Durlabhamatmabhavdau Govindamadi Purusham Namaham Bhajami. Please read the highlighted section. You can see? Please read.
Is still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth.
Always appearing as a fresh youth. In which loka? Goloka. So that is pramana. This is what it is. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.